Okay, so this intro is going to be a little bit longer than usual, but I need to preface a couple of things before we jump in. I love Stray Kids. They are my favorite boy group, and I've been wanting to do a reading on them for a couple of months. I have at least a dozen videos recorded of various members and OT8, so like Bang Chan, Hyunjin, Felix, Changbin, etc. Every reading, the info is always like concerning and dark. And I've been very hesitant to post anything, and I feel like when you watch the video, maybe you'll understand why. It doesn't even really matter like what question I ask. Like if I'll ask about their career, their comeback, general states, their dating, anything like that. I'll ask to not have the energy show up, and it's very, very prominent. It's like very clear too. In this video, I beat around the bush a lot just because the subject matter is really, really sensitive. I don't want to make anyone look bad. I don't want to cause trouble where there is none. I have been getting a lot of requests to do Stray Kids members, so I felt like I'll post this video, maybe you guys will understand. It also just is like a roadblock, like I cannot get any other information besides this, regardless of the member or the topic. Overall, I wish Stray Kids so much health, happiness, and safety, and everything I say in this video is all alleged and for entertainment purposes only, and with peace and love, and let's go. Okay, is Stray Kids okay? The lovers, good news, Ace of Wands, okay. Okay. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna post this. This is the same information over and over and over again. Let's go back. So I'm like, is Stray Kids doing okay? Information that is coming up that is a little bit concerning. I'm just a tarot reader. I don't know anything. The lovers. You see, these people are naked, right? And then the lovers is a card of unionship. It can be a card of sex. It can be a card of like two things coming together, but it doesn't always have to mean romance necessarily. But then you have the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands can be like starting something new, the birth of something new, especially when it comes to energy or creation. But it can also, like, this is like a phallic image. So it can also mean that as well. And then we got the Sun card in the reverse position, which I get in almost every Stray Kids reading. The Sun can like literally mean in the reverse position is like unhappiness. If you're asking a yes or no question, it can mean no. It can also be a loss of innocence because you have a child right here. It's in the reverse position. It can also be things happening in the dark instead. Already not a good look, right? Because you're like, okay, like sex, unhappiness. What is this? And I have to really dance around what I'm seeing here, mostly because it's like, I like ethically and morally, like I don't really know what to do. Like I don't want to say something if it's not actually happening. I'm just reading the energy, and it's not good. And like it's sad to me because Stray Kids is probably my favorite boy band, and I don't read on them because every single reading is hijacked by this type of information. Seven of Swords in the reverse position. It is like something happening in secret, something shady going on. Like keep like this. When I look at this card, the word I hear is keep the secret, and I'm like, I hate that. I don't like that. What is that about? This card can mean like trying to balance. What to me it reads as is trying to balance like something very heavy and like with what you're required to do on like a daily basis. So it'd be like if you had like a really heavy secret and you still had to go to work or like school and still like be like, oh, like everything's fine, but you're like, I have this secret in my backpack and it's really heavy and I'm having a hard time balancing it. That's what this reads as. And this is like emotional unfulfillment in some way. It can also be like somebody who thinks they have a lot of power and kind of do, but they don't wield it well. But don't think of power in the sense of energy. Think of it in terms of like authority is maybe the word I'm looking for. Somebody who like thinks they have a lot of authority, but like they suck. It's given kind of like, you know, like Donald Trump, and technically he has a lot of authority, but he's really not like the best leader to me. Anyway, let's keep going. Knight of Swords. Struggle, burden. The King of Swords can be like a man who like communicates like poorly or instructs people. This is the King of Swords, which makes me indicate this is somebody who actually does have a lot of power, but like is like dishonest with it, or like abuses. And I'm hesitant to say that word because that's what I'm seeing. Anyway, we have the 10 of Wands, which is like burden. It's like working at something. It's like trying really hard. You see this person and they're exhausted and they're carrying like a lot of things. Like I see a lot of weight on Stray Kids' shoulders, all of them. It's almost like they like know a secret or have a secret or something and they have to keep it. But this is something like they're forced to do. It's sort of like, don't tell anyone, because if you tell anyone, like you're gonna get in trouble. That's really, really strongly what the vibe is giving. Then you have the 4 of Pentacles in the reverse position, which is feeling disempowered in some way. But sometimes it can also be like holding very, very strongly to power, and I think it's twofold. In one part, I think somebody is wielding power over them, and on the other part, I think that Stray Kids members feel disempowered in some way. Like they don't have control. There's a loss of control going on. The Hanged Man in the reverse position is like needing to change or do something differently and not like you're stuck in your old ways. You're it's almost like, to me this reads as like literally being like locked into position. Like I can't move, I can't do anything, I can't go anywhere, I'm stuck here. The Eight of Cups in the reverse position is literally again like needing to walk away from something emotional, emotionally heavy, emotionally charged, and not being able to. The Moon right here, Moon can sometimes indicate a secret, but the Moon literally is just like something that is happening in the darkness. The Ace of Cups is like, I read this as when you are really like emotionally overwhelmed, but you're not showing it, or you can't let it out in some way. It's almost like it's like if you want to yell or scream and like you're, I don't know, like in like school or something, so you're like, I can't, like that's, like you're just like locked into your emotions almost, but you have a lot of them, you can't let them go, you can't let them out. The High Priestess, sometimes this is literally black and white, but that's not always true. This card usually means like your higher self, your soul, being in touch with it, being on the right path for your soul. The Nine of Swords is, sometimes it's being like, well, okay, the card next to it would not make me indicate that. Sometimes it's like getting better, but in the upright, it's like nightmares, it's anxiety, it's depression. In the reverse, it's not always the case that is like the alleviation of it. Sometimes it's just more of the same. The Three of Swords is like heartbreak. It's like, loss. Sometimes it's also betrayal. The Page of Wands is, in terms of like energy, but it also can be like youthful spirit. It's like exuberance, it's excitement. It's like this is being extinguished in some way. The Knight of Cups is like a lack of protection, emotional protection. Knights are protective. It can also be like not being able to express something emotionally, almost like you're being blocked from it. It's almost like if you wanted to tell somebody your secret and like somebody was like, don't do it, and you're like, okay, like it's like fear almost. The reason you cannot say anything is because you're being like afraid. I get this card a lot in the readings I do on Stray Kids, and this always to me is like, whenever I look at a card, sometimes like words will pop out at me. This is like, I'm being cornered. I'm backed into a corner. Because like the wands at the very top are like people like poking at you. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And it's sort of like, this is like defensiveness, but almost like you're from a point, because in the upright, it's like you have almost the upper hand, or you feel like you do, or you feel righteous in whatever you're defending. In the reverse position, it's like you're forced to like defend yourself, but even in this case, it's not like you can defend yourself. It's literally like you're being pushed further and further down. Like I see the members of Stray Kids getting smaller and smaller, like they're shrinking, you know? This is like power, wielding it. It can be a powerful mane, but doesn't have to be. Strength, again, feeling disempowered. The Ten of Swords is sometimes like improving. I want to see what card comes up after this, actually. The Page of Swords, King of Cups. The Ten of Swords in the reverse position can sometimes be the alleviation of like really negative thoughts, communication, situations even, but sometimes it literally is like more of the same. Anyway, Page of Swords is like the start of something new communication. The King of Cups is a powerful masculine energy, and it is like all over the place, like sloshing, angry. Angry is the word. This card doesn't always mean angry, but that's the emotion that comes up with that card. It's like angry. I'm angry. But this seems like somebody like who is involved with Stray Kids. I don't even really think they're quote unquote the perpetrator, because I don't know what's going on. I do though. I just don't want to say it. I'm afraid. Anyway, this seems like somebody who is also like has their hands tied, but is very upset about what's going on. Almost like I can't say anything either. But they seem like there's somebody who is like literally in charge at like JYP, not like the guy JYP, but if it was sort of like some sort of executive or a lawyer or somebody who like has some sort of power, but they're like, I'm not like the guy. They just like, it's almost like you're witnessing something and you also can't say anything. The World is completion. The cycle completing. Again, this can be regret though, like looking back at something like, ooh, well, it's already over, it already happened, but I can't do anything about it. The Five of Pentacles, the need for help. The Four of Wands is like joy, like merriment, celebration. But the Star is like feeling disempowered, feeling not like a star, like not having emotion, no emotional flow, feeling vulnerable, but in a bad way. Like it's like forced vulnerability almost. I don't know. I know I'm reading the cards and the energy and not really like connecting it strongly to Stray Kids. I'm like, every reading, it's the same stuff. I like genuinely feel like Stray Kids, and it feels like more than one member, I will say. I haven't read individually on all of them, but I've read about half of them, and every one of them, this kind of energy comes up, where it's sort of like, it really reads as like something, may or may not, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, something maybe going on with Stray Kids in terms of like exploitation, in terms of maybe like sexual things going on that like are maybe not the most like safe. Like the words that come to mind are like coercion, like differences in power between groups of people, like dance monkey dance type of a thing, like perform and you'll get, you know, a reward, like more opportunities or a new comeback or more money to use for your comeback or something like that. Like I see like men looming around Stray Kids. Like Stray Kids are in a dark room and there are men like circling them, almost kind of like vultures. Also, with every reading I've done on Stray Kids, their energy is like really kind of blunted, I guess is the best way to put it. Like it's just like when you've been like really, really, really sad for a long time that you're almost no longer sad, you just like can't feel. But I don't want it to, maybe numb is the word I'm looking for, but that doesn't feel perfect either. They don't really seem happy though, as a collective. They seem like they used to be very scared and now they're just like, this is what it is. This is what it is. So like I've asked so many different types of questions and the same information without fail comes up. And it's always like, it always starts with something like a card having to do with something sexual, like disempowerment and like some sort of loss of like innocence or loss of power or like vulnerability. Usually someone, like a card with someone who's naked on it pops up. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna post this. I really don't know. Cause I've seen comments of people like, oh, like, can you read on Stray Kids? And it's like, I have been, and I don't know what to say. I don't know if Stray Kids is doing well behind the scenes. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I love Stray Kids so much.